Welcome back to the Bobby Dizzle podcast, everybody. How's everybody's week going? Got a couple of announcements before I get cracking on this video. This week's episode, I'm going to start integrating my Instagram into my content a lot more instead of just being where I display my new episodes. It's at Bobby Dizzle Podcast, and I'm going to start putting in stuff that interests me on there and stuff that leads up to that week's episode is coming up. Kind of like an augmented reality game, just involving me. Instead of Pokemon Go, it's just my face. Gotta catch them all, and there's just one. And you can follow all my other social media and podcast archives and distributors on BobbyDizzle.com. So without further ado, let's get to this week's guest, Mr. Roger Allen, longtime radio DJ. I've listened to him for about 15 years in Scottsboro. If you're from Scottsboro, you know this man. We talk about his country music, not his country music career, but his country music DJ career. We talk about his career all in all, and we talk about life back home. So, without further ado, let's get to Roger Allen. Mr. Allen, again, thanks for being on. Let's get to his interview. Thanks.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Roger Allen, that's a voice I haven't heard in a couple of years.
Hey, I am everywhere, man. I'm still around.
That is awesome. I was glad to hear when you agreed to it. I was like, oh, I fanboyed out. That's because I grew up listening to you, man.
I grew up listening to you too.
back in the Scottsboro days.
Oh yeah. Scottsboro's a great little town, man. I miss being on the radio in there. That's why I tell people I'm on the internet now and you can listen to me in Scottsboro.
You know, I didn't notice that K98 kind of dissolved as far as physically from there until, we started talking about this interview and I got to Google it. I'm like, man, that place is not there anymore.
No, it moved to Fort Payne.
Yeah, and Greg Bell started bragging he was the only station in town. I'm like, well, wait a minute. What?
Yeah, well, I mean, he needs to do something with it, and I don't know if he's able or gonna or whatever to make that happen. But he should do something with it. He should go out there and bring some talent in and make some money and have some fun and be able to do local radio, not just whatever mood he's in that day type, situation. He needs to be focused and really concentrate on being in the Scottsboro forefront and, do whatever Scottsboro needs a voice. Every town needs a voice. I don't care if you're in Valley Head, Alabama, Scottsboro, or Los Angeles, California. Every city needs a voice.
Oh yeah. It was weird. I felt kind of, I was kind of down in the dumps for a couple of minutes when I found out that it wasn't there anymore.
Now, where are you?
Right now I live in Huntsville, but I'm from Scottsboro/Pikeville.
Okay. So you know about Pikeville store, best hamburger ever had.
I grew up 100 yards from there.
Best hamburger I ever had.
It certainly was.
Wish I had one right now.
Yeah. Well, if you go to KC's barbecue there at County Park, it's close to the same.
Yeah, a friend of mine used to work with K98. Got a deal at Jackson County Park now.
Yeah, that KC's is probably the best restaurant in Jackson County right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
Oh, I go over there about once every couple of weeks.
Yeah, Scottsboro is a great town. I got a chance to do some great stuff there that I wouldn't have got a chance to do anywhere else, and I'm really glad for those X amount of years. And I have a home studio now that I work out of, and it's so cool to be able to be this close and still be, there. I mean, I do more in Fort Payne than I do Scottsboro, but it's nice to be able to still go into Scottsboro occasionally to do something.
Did you have that studio before COVID hit, or did you get it?
No, I've been on my own since 2008.
Oh, so that's how long you've been away from K98?
Yeah, I left in my last day was January the 16th of 2008. And I went and worked for Greg Bell for 4 months, and he decided he didn't want to pay my salary. And so, we decided we'd build a studio and become our own boss.
See, I'm a seasoned veteran. I make my own checks.
Well, I mean, the paychecks aren't as good as what I'm used to, but again, I'm not starving to death. And that's the big thing right there is being able to make a living and not starve to death and be able to enjoy everything that, that you do. And again, I mean, I'm all over the world. People hear me everywhere.
Now, what's your station called now? I saw that on the email address.
Do what now?
What's your station called now? I mean, you're on like a internet show, aren't you?
Well, I do mornings for a radio station, WCKA in Jacksonville, Alabama.
Okay.
And it's alla810.com. And I do various voice work for other radio stations around the country. I also am part of Sam Meyer's ClassicCountry.com, where I do a all request live classic country Saturday night show.
Yeah, that's the one I was seeing everywhere.
Yeah, and we have a Facebook page, My Classic Country Saturday Night with Roger Allen, that you can go and like and keep up with. And I post videos and stuff up there, and got pictures and stuff of me that we post with various legends that we play on that show, and just again, a lot of great stuff that we are able to make happen. So we do what we.
And it's changed a lot. Technology's changed a lot lately.
It's going to change even more. I mean, when I was doing my Saturday night, when I was on the air period in Scottsboro, there was people who put up antennas and stuff like that in Huntsville. I had one lady in Coleman. We showed up in Somerville, Georgia. We showed up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. People put up their antennas and boosters and stuff like that just because they came to this area and heard that radio station and liked what they heard. And in the process of liking what they heard, they went home and bought the booster. Well, you ain't got to do that no more. All you got to do is just go on the internet now, and it's right there. I mean, before we started the Zoom call, I was working with a radio station. I'm an audio engineer as well, out of Dallas, Texas tonight, trying to work with his sound.
Really?
So, I mean, yeah, I've worked all over the world, man. And while I was at K98, I got a chance to work on an album that actually was up for a Grammy Award that I was the sound engineer on. So,
who was that
I did
with?
all that out here. Daryl Singletary had an album called "That's Why I Sing This Way." I was the audio engineer on that album.
Rest in peace.
Yep. So it's a great world, man. I love it. I can't think of any place I'd rather be than right here.
I bet that's pretty awesome. You went to Jack State, didn't you? I remember hearing Greg Burgess mention he knew you down there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did my time at Jack State and loved every minute of it, and that's why I'm so glad to be back on the radio down there, because it's my alma mater, and it's home. It's what we do, and went to Gadsden State as well for a year. Didn't really get a lot out of Gadsden State except they got my money, and that's about it. But Jack State, I was able to go and do some stuff commercially and really get my career off the ground, and made some money, had some fun, got an education, and just again, I'm really thankful for everything. I cannot knock anything that has come my way. Everything has just been solid.
Oh yeah, you definitely got the successful side of the radio industry there. Some people don't get as lucky, I don't think.
I am the image voice for a radio station in Boston, Massachusetts.
What?
Yep. They hear my voice every day.
They definitely know you're not from there.
Well, that's why they got me. It's a country station.
Oh, well, hey, it sells. That makes sense.
And they wanted somebody that's got, the country voice, the pipes and everything else, and asked if I'd be interested. And I said, sure, bring it on. So I am, that voice.
I never considered being a possibility to be a DJ for different places. Especially, I guess this day and age you can. I mean, you got your board right there at your house.
Oh yeah, I've got a most radio stations don't have as nice equipment as I've got. I built everything here. My studio is in 5.1 digital surround sound. We've got all the digital cables and everything we need to make everything sound really good and smooth, and everything is where it needs to be. So I live out in the country here, just me and my wife and the animals, and every morning I'm able to go to work without the commute.
I was going to, what kind of internet they got up there on the mountain?
We got fiber.
Oh, see, it's not fair. We didn't have that kind of internet when I lived in Jackson County.
I have gig internet speed.
Oh man, that's what I got here. But
so Yeah, I mean, we've got Farmers is my internet provider, and Farmers Telephone has got some of the greatest deals. I have a article that they did on me. That's part of their magazine called Connect. That's on their website. If you go look it up online, you can read the whole article on me. You can see the pictures. There's everything right there, all about me and everything that there is to know, except
Awesome.
what I had for breakfast this morning.
I'm sure you can post that on the internet.
Oh yeah, but I mean, had coffee in a cereal bar. So there you go.
You can go down pretty soon, go down the road and get you some Mennonite butter.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. That's a possibility.
Sounds,
I mean,
so how long were you at K98? I'm trying to think back. I remember like what 1994, 93.
okay, I started at K98 on January 21st, 1992, and left on January 16th, 2008. I was
Good run.
I was going to be a budget cut, and I had never been fired before in my life, so I did not want to be fired on my record. So
That is.
yeah, I was going to be a budget cut, and I chose to not be a budget cut because, as you know, resume means everything.
Mm-hmm. You don't want that gap either.
No, I do not want that gap. So, went across town. I was off the air for 2 weeks. I took a 2 weeks vacation, and did nothing for 2 weeks except sit around and watch TV and enjoy winter.
That's kind of a shame. You're like the voice of that station.
Well,
pretty much.
It has been talked about bringing me back. But nobody has put any money on the table.
Well, you got to have money on the table. I work in government contracting, so I pretty much have like a parallel universe to your kind of employment there.
Hey, get me a job with the government. I'd like to work with you guys.
You want one? I went to I was a broadcast major down in Alabama, and I got a job with the government, so it's not out of the scope of possibility. I was a television production major.
Yeah, get me in with the government. I'd like to have a little built in. That'd be nice to be able to have a little extra cushion here.
You want that gold watch?
Yes,
at the end of the career
and the retirement.
Yeah, no, they have that. I'm a contractor, so I don't have any of that. So,
well, contracting. I mean, that's a lot of my stuff is contracting. Yep. You don't have nothing except just whatever's there.
So I was going to say we run kind of a parallel race as far as that goes.
Yeah, you do. You're constantly out there pushing your product and pushing you and what you can do, and it's constantly a deal of, well, I can do this for you.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, so it's right. It's one of those trade deals that you have to make happen.
Hang on, right. I was going to tell you we have talked before a couple of times. You obviously wouldn't recognize me, but I worked at Kmart for like 3 years in electronics. And after the David Allen Coe concert back in the day, that was kind of a flop,
Oh yeah, at the high school.
Yeah, we talked several times about that concert. You said that son of a bitch.
Yeah, well,
I'll never forget.
I got screwed in that deal because I was supposed to have gone into that concert, emceed him, and left because I was working at a club. So I lost money by him being late.
Yeah, that's right. He was like an hour and a half late. He got stuck in Fort Payne. I forgot about that.
What happened was his motorhome, the air conditioner went out in it. And he got stuck trying to get it fixed or whatever. And he didn't even make sound check.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there was no sound check, no nothing. When he walked out, he didn't dress in his clothes or anything, and he was mad at the world and just absolutely Mr. Unfriendly that day. And I lost money at my club gig because he was late, and I did not stay because of the fact that I was on the clock and was that's money that's coming out of my pocket. So I ran back to the club as quick as I could and jumped back into the DJ booth and continued on my little deal. And I think there was some hurt feelings there that night, but that I was doing the David Allen Coe thing for the radio station. There was no money, hitting my hands that day.
Yeah, that was a pretty rough concert there. I was like on the fourth row, and I was like, man, this guy's This guy's not giving his best.
No, and I did a show with David Allan Coe at the Barn in 1992 when it was still in Scottsboro, and it was one of the best performances I've ever been at. I mean, David Allan Coe, I have been to many concerts of his, and but it was obvious that night in 2002, he did not want to be there.
He was angry.
Oh, he was very angry, and I knew it when he walked on stage because he knew who I was, and he was not friendly at all to me whatsoever. And I said, "Fine."
He was the sound was terrible that day. Well, that's the auditorium anyway, so it wasn't going to be. But
yeah, but I remember. You know, I think about it from Kmart. I bought my share of music at Kmart in Scottsboro.
Oh, yeah, I remember talking to you whenever you'd come through, and especially after that day.
Oh yeah.
Then, before that, I was sitting up there at I was probably about maybe 12 years old, 12 or 13, and I was sitting in the parking lot at Parks Avenue. My mom went into the meat market or the drugstore that used to be there, and I called you on her cell phone, which is probably about as big as a daggum box of shotgun shells. And I asked to hear Hank Williams Jr., and you asked me if I was from Sand Mountain. I'll never forget that. I didn't get the joke at the time.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, back then Hank Jr. on Sand Mountain was a big deal. You know, you could hear Hank Jr. Was just so common on, you know. So naturally that's you know, that was a big deal for Hank Jr. on Saturday nights, and you know, Hank Jr.'s Greatest Hits cassette, it was a big deal back then. So
oh yeah, you know, it was a Friday night.
So
and I had to get the phone book out, the old Scottsboro Yellow Pages.
Oh yeah,
look up radio station.
Oh yeah, God, man, you're making me feel old here.
No, I was probably in junior high when that happened. You played This Ain't Dallas.
Yeah, I've been on the air since June 9th, 1981. And there's a lot of people whose kids I've raised, you know, and you know, you tell them that, and they go, "Really?" But yeah, I've raised a lot of people's kids, and you know, it's been fun. You know, if it ended tomorrow, I'd say, "Well, okay, here we go. No problem."
That'll be it. Check, please.
Yep. You know, open the door. I'm out of here.
I know that feeling all too well some days.
But you're doing podcasting. I mean, you know, you're right here on the cutting edge, man.
Yep, I'm trying to crack in.
This is, you know, there's a million people doing podcasts, but if you can go out there and you find that niche and, you know, get their approval and get them to like what you're doing, you're in.
Yeah, or just break past the first little year and a half barrier of keeping regular. That's what seems to be the key. All the books and stuff I've read about it.
It is. We have talked about doing a podcast with several different ventures that I work at, but man, I just don't have the time to sit down and edit this stuff because I'm constantly working, doing something somewhere.
I couldn't imagine having to edit the podcast because I just kind of do the conversation kind of thing. I just put it on there and then hit send, but some people go through and get pretty meticulous.
Yeah. So I guess I don't need to say any of the 7 dirty words that you can't say on the radio.
Well, you can do whatever you want. You can be George Carlin. I'll take it.
No, I don't think so, man. I got a reputation to keep.
I was going to say, I don't think that's you, but you can do whatever you want.
Nah, I've got to keep my reputation. I don't need to you know, don't want to do that. That would ruin me. That's like, you know, I still book some gigs on the side for weddings and parties and different things that we play around the country. And they one of the things I tell them is I don't play no rap. I don't play no crap because I got a reputation to keep up.
I'll tell you the funniest thing I ever heard you say was this is going to blow your mind. Ken Mellon's concert.
Yep.
You walked out and said it's the prettiest crowd you ever did see.
Oh yeah, I went and sang with Ken that night on stage.
Oh yeah, man, I forget about that. He hadn't had anything since.
No, I'm probably the reason that happened.
He's up there in Hermitage, Tennessee. Now I looked him up. I was like, what's old Ken Mellon's doing? I figured he'd be dead.
No, Ken Mellon's is still touring. And matter of fact, he's doing some shows around and still trying. He tried some bluegrass stuff for a while and that didn't float. So I think he's trying to do whatever he can to keep the bills paid, like a lot of us. And
Yep.
you know, Ken's Ken, and Ken's a nice guy, and I've done my share of stuff with him. And but that night, walked out on stage and sang. That was one of those deals where I was in decent voice. I had in the early 2000s, I had a hernia worked on. In the process, they found I had lost 90% of my throat lining from acid reflux. So I had to get what they call an esophagus wrap to get all that fixed. And I lost a lot of my voice and was kind of partial voice for a while while everything healed up.
It's kind of your bread and butter. You kind of want that.
It is. So, I had to kind of fake it with it, everything, but I got to where I couldn't do a board shift without being, having laryngitis at the end, and went to the doctor. And, I knew I had acid reflux and knew I had some problems, and they opened me up and had me on the table right there and told my wife that, we're going to do an esophagus wrap or he's going to lose the rest of his voice. So that was in 2002. And up to that point, I had done karaoke. I had done a little bit of everything, and a lot of that just stopped.
So like gymnastics or gymnasts and everything. Speaking of topical, did you have insurance on your voice?
No.
Oh, so it would have been done then.
It'd been done. I would have been bagging groceries somewhere.
Been down there at Lucky's.
Yeah. But actually, I think it's called Cash Savers now. But I would have been doing something because, again, your voice is everything that you've got. So, the good Lord was riding with me, and there was enough there to save. So, here I am, almost 20 years to getting that done, and I'm still doing it.
They obviously did a good job because you don't sound any different.
It's I still miss the wanting to get up and sing karaoke and this and do that, and little things like that. But because I've got perfect pitch, and I had a music scholarship to Jack State, and I'd let all that go to do radio because I got burned out on playing music. And I guess I would have been sick if I lost all that and trying to do music and everything. That would have really not. So radio kind of saved my life, I guess you'd say.
So you had a music scholarship. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to school in Talladega, and I play everything. I've got perfect pitch, everything. I played first chair trumpet from 4th grade to the day I graduated high school.
Really? I played trumpet, Scottsboro.
You have Betty Bates?
Yep.
Yeah, went to college with Betty Bates. I know her. Great band director.
And she was called her the Bear Bryant of band directors. She was the best. Betty Bates is it, man, when it comes to Scottsboro would have been so lost had there not been a Betty Bates. I kind of want to have her on here, but I'm scared to death of her.
Don't be scared to death. She'll do it.
I'm hoping she's not listening because she'll come to me, but she's scared. The scariest person I've ever met. I've never been more scared of one person.
She'll do it and do a good job.
Oh, I'm sure.
You'll like it. I mean, again, she was one of those that got a great education and really did well and was able to, go in here and make a name for herself. And like you said, she's the Bear Bryant of high school band. Oh yeah. I couldn't
imagine being going to college, go to high school under any other band director.
But yeah, I played in jazz bands. I did everything. I knew I did, but when I graduated, I had already decided because I'd been in radio for 2-3 years, and that was it. No more.
Were you down there at the JAX?
Jacksonville State University.
The radio station there, wasn't it? Aren't they JAX?
WLJS.
Yeah, that's right. It's something. Yeah. I'm secondhand information because I listen to Rick and Bubba, and they're the ones that talk about that one all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I met, Rick and Bubba in college, and they used to have me on their show lately, but they don't do that much anymore for some reason. I don't know if that's because I don't know, but guys, I would come on your show.
Yeah. I mean, I had the Gary Vines from their show on here.
Well, you call Gary and tell him to call me. I'd love to do the Rick and Bubba show.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can tag him in a post.
Yeah, I mean, when they came to Scottsboro, I'm the reason they, joined 1017 in 1999. I went down and, did all the deals, did everything. And I'm the reason they came to Scottsboro.
They're still there.
They are still there. 22 years later?
Mm-hmm. I know you can't see it, but over my shoulder, I got an autographed picture of them from 1997 when they came and played the Band Boosters, or 96.
Oh, yeah. I don't have my video turned on here.
That's fine.
But in Rick and Bubba, again, I knew Bubba before I knew Rick, but went to college with both of them and had some great moments.
Yeah, he was the engineer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he sure was at the Jack State Station. And Rick was on the air, and one day they just magically decided after all those years of going to classes together to make some radio happen. Why didn't they bring me? I don't know.
They talk about you every so often.
I know. Tell them to call me. Tell them to call me. I would come on their show.
Because I was listening to one day and they were talking about y'all going in a van ride somewhere.
Yeah.
And Greg said, Roger Allen, the blind DJ. I'm like, that can't be two, Roger. That has to be the same one. I looked it up and said, sure enough.
Yep, sure enough. I mean, all those guys are phenomenal, and I can't say anything bad. Except again, guys, call me. I'll do your show.
Yeah, I'll have to email Rick this link. Say Roger Allen needs to call him back now. He's getting a little tired of the voicemail, straight to voicemail.
Yeah. Well, the busy signals.
Yeah. Hitting the FU button. No one likes that. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, no.
That old red button on the side there.
Well, again, getting, everybody messages now. I don't like messages because, I've sat here while we're doing the podcast and I've got a couple of people I've got to call back on a couple of deals, and that's great and all, but hey, just pick up the freaking phone and call me. Let me hear a human voice.
I'm bad about the text message thing myself.
I hate text messages.
Yeah, what I guess you have to do the speech to talk, which is that's a whole nother.
It's not that bad, man. I mean,
Guess if you don't know no different.
No, I mean, I type 85 words a minute, and when I was out of work for a while on the radio, I was gonna get into office work and found out that I was overqualified. Now, how about that? Being overqualified to work in an office.
It's a thing. I bet you wouldn't be now just because nobody wants to work.
Oh, no. You can't even get a hamburger at McDonald's because nobody wants to work. I mean, it's sad that we have a situation that we're in with the kids, and first one thing or another just not caring. It's not right. It
doesn't feel natural to me. It's like, how can you not want to do something? Get a guilt feeling, and like, man, how can you just not want to work at least to start off?
I know. I mean, I was working since I was 16, man, and back when minimum wage was $3.35 an hour, and I was happy to get that $3.35.
Oh yeah, started at Kmart, I think at $5.25.
Man, I'd love to have had $5.25 at Kmart.
Oh
yeah. Man, I used to love Kmart. Kmart was a great place to shop.
Yeah, you were there all the time. I remember seeing you and your wife there come through my line when I worked on the register.
Oh yeah, and there was a man that worked in electronics too, an old guy. I think he passed away.
Oh, Frank?
Yes.
Yeah, he was cool.
Man, he was cool. He
did pass away though.
He knew where everything was, so I mean, I didn't have to worry. And the good thing was Kmart's music selection was better than Walmart's. So
yeah,
if I needed something hard to find, that's where I went, was Kmart.
Kmart did have a better music. I'll have to admit that. And they even had the explicit stuff that was not just radio edited, so you could find a little bit better copies of everything.
Yeah, well, I didn't care about that as much as the fact that just being able to find, those hard to, because again, I was doing a lot of DJ stuff. So, you didn't have the option of going to iTunes and downloading a certain song for 99 cents or anything. You actually had to go and spend your hard-earned dollars to buy a physical CD copy of it. So unless you knew somebody had a copy that you could, put it on cassette from. But
You are
back
right there.
then, I mean, there was no Amazon. There was no, if you ordered a CD online or even through any of the over the phone type stuff, you're talking 4 to 6 weeks. So
I remember they're the only place that ever had the back catalog of any country singers that besides like the newer ones.
yeah.
You could find those David Allan Coe, Lay With Me in a Field of Stone albums and the best super hits and that they had.
Oh yeah, you could find all that stuff, and it was real nice to do. When I came to K98 in '92, they didn't have any David Allan Coe except just 45s and stuff like that, and he was coming to the barn, and we had to come up with some stuff. So, there was little cases like that where Kmart really came in handy, and we need Kmart now because we just don't shop at Walmart, man. To be honest with you, we shop Amazon or whatever, because especially music, Kmart don't go for guys like me that's been in the business 40 plus years and looking for some rare, hard to find gem. That they go for these people that like Justin Bieber and all the new people and stuff like that. And I remember, Kmart, and that the thing that really got me to Kmart back in the day was you could even go in there and buy Hank Williams stuff and older rock and roll stuff from it, the Big Bopper and Jerry Lee Lewis and people like that. So Kmart had a much wider selection of that stuff.
I think that's where I bought the Luke the Drifter CD.
They had that. They kept that thing in stock regularly.
You can't find that. God, I can't even think of those are the saddest songs ever. The one about the "We're Still Living and Everything's Okay."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come to my house. If I play it for anybody who hadn't heard it, just make an appointment and come by and we'll sit and listen to it, because that's some sad stuff, man.
I still got it, man. I can't even think of none of those songs. Come on.
I have everything he's ever done. And if you've never been to the Hank Williams Museum in Montgomery, you got to go.
I have.
Go by the graveyard on I-65 too.
Before they stole the hat off of it.
Oh, the grave?
Yeah.
Did they do that?
Somebody stole the hat.
Oh man, how sad.
About 10 years ago. Bo Cephas had an award out for it.
Okay, when I went in 2015, I think it was there.
Well, they put it back. I think they found it.
You're getting text.
Oh, am I? Yeah. My friends in Universal sending me the picture of all Harry Potter.
Oh. Okay.
Send me the Harry Potter pictures of the rides.
I thought, wow. But what else can I tell you?
Oh, I was going to ask you what you're meeting the country music singers. What's your favorite stories about that? If you got a good one.
Man, I've got a blue million. I've hung out with Merle. Saw him 8 times in concert, hung out with him 3 and talked to him just like me and you. I've hung out with George Jones. I've hung out with Vern Gosdin. I have hung out with countless over the years. Just I keep saying I'm going to write a book one of these days and put all those stories in that book. And I've been saying that for about 30 years and it ain't happened yet. I've stood in the circle on the Grand Ole Opry stage. I've, just, man, story after story. And I guess one of these days, I guess I need to go ahead and find somebody to help me write that book and get at least that 2 or 3 people to buy a copy of it. Probably all it would buy it. But, there's so many great stories, man. There's just so many great stories, from all the different radio stations I worked at over the years. Just, people, artists coming by and just, there's we would have to spend numerous hours just on stories.
You calling a part 2? I'm hearing a part 2.
I mean, I've interviewed Johnny Paycheck. I mean, I have got so many people I have interviewed over the years that just, really, I don't even know where to start.
I mean, I didn't know you were on the Grand Ole Opry at one time. What happened there?
I actually was not on the Grand Ole Opry.
Well, I
I
mean,
just
like
stood on the
on the
stage in the
stage.
circle. I just had a lot of connections and stuff like that at the Grand Ole Opry that I was backstage numerous times and stuff. And I said, man, I'd like to stand on that circle just once. The guy said, come on.
Oh, okay. So I said, just
So
go
I
do
went
it.
out and I went out and stood, for a second, then walked off of it, and this was during the time Brad Paisley was becoming a superstar in the late 1990s when I was really burning up the Nashville scene with him and Vince Gill and people like that, so, um, a lot, just right place, right time, I guess you'd say, type
Okay.
situations.
I didn't know if you got invited up one Saturday night or what, or whatever.
Man, I've been invited to the Opry so much. It'd scare you. I mean, they, at one time they knew who I was. I just went to the back door and went in.
See, that's like legendary status there. I didn't know it was that substantial.
Oh yeah, man. I was, in with and a lot of the legends and stuff that I ran with back in the day and hung out with backstage have passed on now. So that whole thing has changed, and I have not been to the Grand Ole Opry probably since 2014, 2015 because all my friends are gone. I really don't know anybody there much anymore.
Yeah, they moved it over by the Bass Pro Shop now.
Well, I mean, it's in the same place, but
Yeah,
just all my friends that I ran with at the Opry are gone. That they went to that big stage in the sky.
oh yeah, they've been dropping like flies lately too.
So,
especially the ZZ Top today.
oh yeah, and that still shocks me because it was just a few weeks ago I watched that documentary on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's I've had fun. It's been fun, and I can't think of anything to say except it's been fun. I mean, I still want to go back and do some stuff in Nashville. We're working on me taking my internet radio show and actually broadcasting from there, but that's down the road, and we hadn't gotten the okays from the money up there yet to do that. But that's one of those things where if it happens, okay.
That'll be fun to get back up there. We're heading up there Saturday morning going to see Garth.
Oh man, I can tell you Garth stories. Oh man, I met Garth when there was only 50 people in the room at a concert he did in 1989 at the Alabama Show Palace in Anniston when his first album came out. Nobody knew who he was. He couldn't give away music there for a while. And he did a show, and there was, including the staff at the rest club there, 50 people probably just saw him 2 years later, reminded him that he knew who I was by name and everything. And when he came to Birmingham in 1996, he sent me a personal invitation to the press conference and made sure I had second row tickets the next night.
So he's the nicest guy. He's the nice of a guy as he portrays.
Yes, he is. He's the real deal.
We always wondered that when he got kind of blew up, if he let it go to his head, but he seems like he's still keeping it real.
No, Garth does a lot of work to help people that people don't know about. Garth, he's not one of these guys that, has the money and everything like that, and it sits in a bank somewhere. He spends a lot of time to try to make life, people's lives better because, growing up, he didn't have all the bells and whistles, of course, that, he tries to give it back as much as he can to people. So you're going to get a pretty decent show this weekend if you go up and check him out on Saturday.
I'm kind of excited about it. I haven't been to a live concert, obviously, since 2019.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll see him swinging around on stage and doing all them crazy robotics that he used to do, but
I think he don't
you'll
do that
get
anymore.
a great show. I don't know. I hadn't been to a Garth show in years, but I know he'll do all the hits. He'll do everything that you want and then some, and you ought to be entertained.
I hope so. I think Trisha's going to be there too, from what
she is.
What I hear. My wife bought the ticket and said we're going. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go see Garth.
Yeah, she paid $150,000 a ticket, probably.
Yeah, I mean, we're mortgaging the house. It's not a big deal.
No, those concerts tickets concert tickets to me, period, have gone way out of sight and should not be.
Well, we generally go see Kenny Chesney and Eric Church every year.
Yeah.
And that's like our tradition, our weekend away, but didn't get to last year. So we're kind of lumping it all in. Anybody that comes near is getting us. Like the ugly girl closing time right now. Concerts.
There you go. There you go.
Like somebody sang.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not doing any concerts, man. Don't know of anything that just really jumps out at me because I've done them all. I know everybody. Know Kenny Chesney. I know. I have never met Eric Church, but God, I played his music back when he was a nobody, and kind of helped him out to get on the radio around here and all that stuff like
back
that.
When he had a mullet.
Yes, and I would love to hang out with Eric Church, but he's one of the very few I probably would go and see and very much enjoy. But man, concerts, not just something I don't do these days.
No, Eric Church is a not backup singer, but Joanna Cotton. She could have her own career.
Oh yeah,
I think.
That's why Eric Church has got her, because everybody in his band is good enough to be on their own. He's like the all-star dude, And
she pretty much put up on her own little sideshow. We went to see him up there at the Titan Stadium.
Oh yeah, Titan Stadium, and you got a great place for the acoustics too.
Yeah, that's where we always go see Kenny.
Yeah,
he's always up there.
Yeah, I played Kenny's music back before he got signed, way back when Tin Man and all that stuff was out.
Mm-hmm. Back when he ain't had nothing to drink.
Yep.
Back in those days.
Yep.
Him, and when he had a mullet before he was bald.
Yeah.
All the mullet years. That's when call them the Roger Allen mullet years.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm afraid I'm gonna wake up that way, but so far so good.
No, you seem to be holding on to it.
Yeah, well, it's good shampoo. Good shampoo. Use the Axe stuff, and it'll save your hair.
Use the Nair. All right. I'll start to wrap it up. But you reminded me a while ago, and I appreciate you being on. By the way, it was a shocker. You were one of the.
We'll do this again.
You were one of the back of the napkin guys, and I was forming this podcast, and I was like, if I could just get like Roger Allen and Greg Bell and maybe Ron Livengood, the big three. But you reminded me a while ago when you were talking about Rick and Bubba, and I hadn't thought about it. But did you know Vic Henley when you were in Jack State?
I know the name, but I don't know. I don't think I know. Well, that name. I mean, I know the name, but I don't think I ever met him.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
We were in 2007 before me and my wife got married. We went on vacation to Atlanta, and we were sitting at the hotel bar drinking before we went to bed.
No.
And this dude started hollering War Eagle at me, and I had my Bama hat on. I'm like, what in the world? and I look over and this guy's just talking all kinds of smack to me. And I walked over. I'm like, I know this dude. I know him. Like, I feel like I was related to him. I couldn't recognize him. And he introduced himself. Like, oh yeah, you're the guy with the Klan hood bit. He goes, yeah, man. I said he started telling me how he knew Rick and Bubba and put everybody behind the microphone together. So I was just wondering when you said you knew them at that level, if you met Vic Henley or not, because I know it was around that same time period.
Yeah, no, I didn't know him, but he probably knew who I was.
You ever heard his comedy?
No.
It's pretty funny.
I just know the name. I'll have to YouTube that and check him out. I
asked him to be on here, but I don't know how old the email address I found was, or they'll put stuff on the internet and it's there forever, so you don't know how long it's there. But
with the way that Zoom works and everything now, you can put multiple people on. I mean, you might get a radio reunion or something together with all the Scottsboro jocks at, one day. That'd be kind of cool.
Now, do you remember John Moore from Scottsboro?
I
asked him to be on a couple of years ago. I haven't reached out and followed up yet, but I'd like to do one with him as well.
That'd be cool. Yeah, Scottsboro is a great city, man, and I'm really glad for the years that I spent doing radio in that town and all the people that I worked with. I cannot say enough good things about my years in Scottsboro. I mean, thanks to Scottsboro, I have my wife Judy that we've been together since 2000. So,
okay, so
had there not been a Scottsboro, that wouldn't have been her. Yeah,
that's who you came to Kmart with then.
Probably.
Yeah, it had to be. That's when I started working there.
So, Again, just I cannot say enough great things about Scottsboro. Great people, great everything. Unclaimed baggage has changed. You can't get a bargain there anymore, but
Nope, not since eBay came along. That's
nope.
they've they know what they're worth.
So, but again, Scottsboro, great town, and anytime I get to go and play a gig in Scottsboro, I'm even happier because I usually see somebody know. As a matter of fact, went to Tractor Supply Saturday and was in checkout, and one of the guys whose wife used to work with me recognized me and said hello and everything. We talked for a second, and the checkout girl that was doing our checking out, she said, I knew who you were, but I could not remember your name. And Judy said, I can't take him anywhere.
Yeah, that's about the truth. There's another Roger Allen on Skyline that does a lot of historical research, and I get you two confused.
Well, I've never met this guy, I don't think. But there's been times that I've gotten called, been people looking for him, and he used to call the radio station and tell people, me, so-and-so's looking for me, and, pass a phone number to the receptionist, and I'd have to call him back on a booking and stuff. So I think our paths have crossed. We've just never sat down and talked to each other.
Yeah, I want to get him on there because he's got all these pictures of the old schools and stuff out there, but I don't know if it's going to be as easy as someone that's already got the equipment ready to go. I knew you already had a setup. It wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting here with air conditioner turned on and everything, and always quiet and peaceful. It's about 105 degrees outside. It's about 75 in here. A little warmer than what I want it to be, but considering how warm it is outside, I'll take it.
It was straight up 105 in the truck when I left the gym a while ago. I was like, oh my Lord, this is terrible.
Yeah, it's that a friend of mine is in Dallas, and they're about 110, and that heat index, I'm sure, is even higher. He said his air conditioner's wide open. He was sweating. So he said, couldn't tell it really cold air or anything. So
they like the red line their utilities out there in Texas, don't they? Good Lord.
Well, it gets so hot.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have to do whatever they need to do to stay cool.
May move out there pretty soon. It's worse around here. Like everybody from California.
I ain't moving to California. You can have California.
No. I said like everybody from California is moving to Texas.
Right. I can see why I'd get out of California too.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being on. I'll let you go. It's been 45 minutes. It's been a good conversation.
It has, and we'll do a part 2. Call me. Get in touch with me. We'll do a second part, and we'll pick up from where we left off, and anything that maybe somebody missed on the first one, we can go back over the second if we need to. I had a blast. Anytime I get to get out here and be a part of anything like this. This is great because, of course, as you know, when you're in a public eye like this, any publicity, as long as it's good publicity, is good publicity.
Mm-hmm.
So, you keep your private life, any skeletons, anything like that you've got private, everybody's good with it.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and I have no skeletons.
Nope, none. I don't.
Nope.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Hey, you have a great one, and roll tide.
Yeah, roll tide. We'll see you next time.
Okay, man. Thank you.
See ya.